What is shaking, everybody? I know it's been a little bit of a uneven schedule that we've had here, and that's just the way it is. I told you guys I was down in Tucson for a celebration of life, and this week is Camila's spring break, so she's here and went and saw Snow White today, and missed about 25 minutes of it because the lines were so long. Yes, I'll take the cheese with the pretzel, and could you warm the cheese up? And I get a drink with the meal deal. I don't know what I want with that. Like, just somebody hurry up, please. Not like I don't know the Snow White story, so I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I popped back up in the middle of the movie. I was like, all right, kind of get a good handle on this. I know what's going on. So anyway, that's the reason that the schedule is kind of a little goofy. But like I said, we'll get it. We'll get it worked out. We'll get it figured out. Hopefully, we're gonna have Steve Elkington on at some point today, talking Masters. And then if I keep looking at my phone, that's because I'm seeing if Elk got back to us. Tomorrow's gonna be Woody Kirk Reeder. We're gonna get a tour of the shed. How cool is that gonna be? A tour of the shed. We've heard about it. We've talked about it. He's been in it when he's talked to us. I don't think we've ever got a full-on tour of the shed. It'll be like Brent Jones. Get the tour of the trophies and the footballs and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun. And Charles Davis is going to join us on Thursday. We'll get into the NFL draft a little bit. And we'll try to do some stuff NFL draft-wise the week of. Maybe have Brent Jones back on if I can convince him to come on. My friend Craig Bergman, I think, is going to come on. But I got to figure out Warriors' travel schedule, too, what the playoffs are going to entail. We still don't know. They could be third. They could be fourth. They could be eighth. It's like a NASCAR race. It's like Daytona. It's just everything in front of you is 4 inches. Everything behind you is 4 inches. It really is kind of wild. And, everybody's playing each other. Like, I know that Memphis plays Denver or maybe Minnesota at some point, and the Lakers play Houston, and then the Warriors play the Clippers. It's wild. So we'll just wait and see where it goes. Warriors got the Suns tonight. But what about Mike Malone? Holy cow. This was like hockey. This is for those of you that don't follow hockey, this is very hockey-esque, where you get close to the playoffs and you fire a coach, even though you're in third place in your division or fourth place in your division. It's like, nah, let's whack him. And it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And now we've seen it happen twice. Taylor Jenkins, Memphis, gone. Well, he didn't win a championship, did he? He never even got to the finals before. It's still weird. Taylor Jenkins, a really good coach. And who's to say he didn't want out of there either? I have no idea. Maybe he feels like there's better jobs out there that are going to be open at the end of the year. But Mike Malone, he has a ring, and they got rid of him and Calvin Booth, the general manager. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Usually usually there's a number of things or a couple of things that could happen as to why a coach get fired. The obvious is you're not very good. Your team's awful. And they want a change in direction. They want a different voice. They just want something different because what you're providing isn't working. Don't get along with the star player. That's been the report out of Memphis, is that Ja Morant and Taylor Jenkins didn't get along. Although, a lot of reports I read said Ja was on Team Taylor. So who knows? That was bizarre. I can't imagine Jokic has anything to do with this. I can't imagine Jokic cares that much. Like, Jokic just goes out there and plays, wants to hang out with his horses, slam a couple beers, and that's pretty much it. I don't think he doesn't seem like a mover and a shaker to me, like a guy that behind the scenes is doing the whole Godfather thing where he's got the puppet strings. And the international players don't do that. At least from the ones I've seen in the stories I've heard. That's an American thing. Get the coach out, get your guy in. You don't like things. And usually those players are, just they don't go on to have great success unless you're Magic. You get rid of Paul Westhead, and Pat Riley did pretty good. So or the analytics team and the way the lineups you're using and the rotations you use every night, it doesn't suit what the organization thinks is best for the team. And usually that involves the owner too. Somebody will have the owner's ear in that case because they think they can do it better. Oh, I could do it better. We could do this. This is what we should be doing. We should be doing this. We should be doing that. We should be doing this. And I don't necessarily know which one it was in Denver or in Memphis, but it's very, very odd that you're going to have two. Well, Denver will be a playoff team unless they just completely faceplant the last week of the season. And then Memphis probably have to play in a play-in game. Those are stupid, by the way. If you were wondering, I haven't changed my mind on the play-in game. Everybody's like, oh, Tom, there's so much fun. Well, yeah, by definition, a one game and you're out game, single elimination. There's some excitement that goes with that game. Doesn't mean they deserve to be there. Doesn't mean after 82 games, you finish 8 games behind people in 7th and 8th, you deserve to have a shot, a 2-game crack and get into the playoffs. You don't deserve it. I know a lot of people say, and usually I agree with them, deserves. Got a kid. Unforgiven. Love that line. But if you don't make the playoffs after 82 games, I'm sorry. We're already letting half the league in the playoffs, more than half the team in the playoffs. And now we want to include more? Let's just include everybody. Let's just make it a big party. Everybody's in. Regular season doesn't mean anything anyway. Who cares? That's why we have the play-in tournament, or not the play-in tournament, but the mid-season tournament. Again, another thing that's a joke, but that one's just for money. That's not for anything other than money. But I don't think you need this at all, but it ain't going anywhere. Sponsors like it. The networks like it. The networks are paying big money for the product, and they want to get more bang for their buck. They want to get more eyeballs on the games, so their advertisers get their money's worth. So that's really all it is. The play-in and the midseason tournament are all. It's just all about the money. So that's all it is. Not about expanding the game or doing. It's like, how do we make more money? It's like putting logos on your jersey. Can we get more money out of that? Yeah, let's put more monies. Let's get Rakuten on there. Let's get Billabong on there. Let's get whoever on there. Almost said Billabong. I don't think Billabong has enough money to be on a jersey, an NBA jersey. It'd be pretty sweet, though. Let me take me back to maybe have OP on there. OP'd be sweet, too. Throw that one on there. That'd be nice. But I don't have any, I don't know. We're hoping to have some NBA guys on before the playoffs, kind of go over the playoffs and stuff. And maybe we'll have some news breakers on that can kind of help us understand what the fuck. Like, really. I couldn't believe it. Taylor Jenkins was shocking. I'm like, you kidding me? Think how many shocking things have happened over the last month or so in the NBA. Luka to the Lakers, the biggest shocker of all. Taylor Jenkins, I would say for me it's a shocker because I think he's a really good coach. But for you, you may think, not a huge shocker. He's never won anything. Okay. Mike Malone, massive show. Listen, last week of the season. And you said, see ya, out. And he's won a championship. So circumstances are different with him and Jenkins, but yeah. It is wild. So anyway, we'll see how that affects the Nuggets. Maybe they have guys they want to interview, and maybe they have guys that they don't want to be like behind. Like maybe there's somebody out there that they want to take over their organization that's already out there. And they're like, hey, we don't want to drag this thing out. As soon as the season's over, we want to boom. So it wouldn't surprise me if them or Memphis already have their sights set on somebody. Maybe it's the same person. And maybe the Nuggets knew they didn't want to continue on with Mike Malone and thought, okay, we'll just kind of see how this goes. But there's a certain person we have our eye on, and we want to make sure we hit the ground running once the offseason starts. And the thing that really upsets me about Denver is Stan Kroenke has already won a championship, already won a Super Bowl. Like, they have money. They're going to go over the cap. They could do whatever. I'm not saying you can make any trade you want, but you could. I mean, they can make different trades. Put it this way. They could have beefed up their bench more than they did this year. Their bench is brutal. And I hate to say it because I'm ripping guys and I don't like doing that, but it's just not a good bench. Their starting 5 could compete with anybody in the league. Anybody. Boston, yep. Lakers, yep. Cleveland, yep. Thunder, yep. Warriors, yep. I mean, their starting five is loaded. Jokic, Gordon, Porter, Murray, Brown. It's as good as a starting five can be. I mean, it really is. And they got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, they really do have, and look, they've lost some games now, but Murray's been out for the past couple weeks. But you stick, of course, you stick Jokic in there with a poor hobos like me, and you can win 50 games. Trust me, that's how good that dude is. If you just know how to play basketball a little bit, he's going to help you out. He's going to get you some buckets and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm just obviously, you guys know I'm a massive fan. Two favorite players to watch in the NBA today: Jokic and Steph. Those are the two guys that I just never grow tired of watching. All right, let's see. We do have a text. So it looks like 3:00 ETA for Elk is what he's saying. So he just said probably can do it in 45 minutes. So we'll send him a link and we'll see if we can get a hold of him. And then we'll do a little Masters preview in about 40 minutes. We'll send link in 45. Let me get to Draymond. Because that one, I usually don't get too exercised. For those of you that don't follow me, you'll know this. Hold on the highlights for a second for me. And then I'll get to that in a second. But for those that do follow me or have listened to me forever, you understand a couple of things. One, I don't rip coaches unless it's just an obvious mistake that a coach would make. I just don't. And I don't rip the officials very often. I just don't. I was a player. I played. You try to fight through it. Yeah, you get upset with the officials. Yeah, you get upset at the coaches sometimes, but you're the ones out there with the ball in your hands. You're the ones that are playing. I just hate it. And wait till the playoffs come around. That's all Twitter is. Twitter idiots bitching at referees and coaches. They'll bitch at their own coach, and then they're getting screwed by the referees. Literally every fan base. I mean, it's a bunch of idiots that don't know what they're looking at, or because they got their websites and they're, oh, I know what I'm looking at. I know what works. I know what, that guy official calls a lot of these fouls. A lot of that's a terrible. Let's blame him. But like what I'm going to get into, no way is a shot at the Rockets, because the Rockets won that game against the Warriors. But I just don't do this. I don't do it very often because I don't like to get into the whole discourse. Again, it's just mind numbing. To me, it's mind numbingly stupid. Is that we go on Twitter during the NBA playoffs? Oh my Lord, it is. Oh, that guy sucks. One of the worst officials in the game. How could you call that? You can't call that in that situation. Oh, what are you doing? Or the coach. How could the coach sub him in? How could he sub him out? What is he doing with his rotations? Why did he call that play? Why didn't he double? Why didn't he do this? It's just, everybody has, because fans have more information than they ever have had. And that's because of, analytic sites. They just break things down for you. And they do explain like what plays coaches run, what frequency in which they run them, what their rotations are like, what combinations work better, what 3-man combinations, 2-man combinations, 5-man combinations, all that. Doesn't mean you can play them every game. Every game's not the same. Okay, it just isn't. Trust me on that. I know you're not going to. You're not. You're just going to say, well, what does Tom know? He just played. He's just watched it for 4. What does he know? I'm going to go to my sites and do. So I don't get into stuff like this, but on occasion I will. When something rises to the level of just, what was that? Like what are we doing out here? So I want to show you the play. This is earlier this week. This is Sunday night. There've been so many games lately. I forgot what night it was. I think it was Sunday. Yeah. So this is Rockets Warriors. And this is Draymond going up for a layup against Alperen Şengün. And I love saying that name, by the way. Şengün. But look at this. Draymond goes up for a layup. Şengün sticks his face in there and gets clipped with an elbow. We used to say, get your beak out of the way. I mean, unless you want to get hit. Now, it wasn't really Şengün's fault. It wasn't really Draymond's fault. Just, you're in the wrong area at the wrong time. To me, he's inside the restricted area. That's probably a foul on him, for my money. If you wanted to call a foul on Draymond, okay. You get the elbow out there, and I know how sensitive everybody is with the head and neck area nowadays. So you hit somebody in the head and neck area, you're probably going to get a foul. So I could even buy that. The fact they called this a flagrant is so absurdly stupid that I just wonder, could they? Now, let me explain this to you. I think it was Ben Taylor that was on the mic after the review and said that Draymond came in with speed and there was a windup. How is that a windup? I have no idea how that's a windup. And that's not speed. That's going up strong. It's not going up soft. Now, if you want to go in there and not have your elbow out and just show Şengün the ball, put it right in front of his face, guess what? You're going to have an NBA logo tattoo right on your forehead because he's going to throw it right back at you. Like, you got to protect the ball. And that's how you protect the ball, by getting big. And of course he's going to go up with force. Of course, like I said, that's called going up strong, not weak. You get big, you get down and you explode. You explode into the layup because you're trying to go through Şengün. You're trying to go through him. You're not trying to jump over him. You're not trying to pull up for a jump shot. You're trying to get to the rim, and you're trying to force contact. So the fact that that was the explanation was he came in with speed and there was a windup, I would have just rather said, look, it was Draymond. We called it because it was Draymond. Do I think that's the case? Probably not. But at least it would have been more satisfying than speed and windup. When literally, unless it's the definition of windup changed anytime in the last month or so. I don't think so. So I'm not sure that it's not. It's not. Now, this could go back to the first half where him and Şengün were wrestling on the out of bounds play. And they got into it, and Draymond ended up picking up a tee on that play. So I don't know if that had an effect on this play, but this is just, that's a joke. That's an absolute joke. That's just soft right there. All right, I think people probably get the picture now. I think we've shot like 15 times. They're probably getting more and more mad as they see it. But it bothers me when you can get up in somebody and I can't take my elbows and put them like this and twist. Let me get out of my chair and show you something real quick. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this. I don't know if you're going to be able to get this because I might be too big for the camera, but I'm going to go ahead and duck down a little bit. So usually what you do is have your elbows out like this with the ball, right? And then you'd pivot. You'd pivot right, pivot left, back pivot, forward pivot. Now, obviously, I'm not doing all this at once because I'd have traveled about 8 seconds ago. Hello, I'm here. I'm not here. I'm back again. Hello. Goodbye. So I'm down. It's going to hurt my quads. I got to be honest with you. God damn. Wish I was in better shape. Lactic acid really builds up quick nowadays, doesn't it? Oofa. Okay. So you're down like this. And there's a difference between this, swinging them, and just holding the ball and pivoting. That's it. And you can't even clip a guy when you pivot nowadays because they're so concerned with the head and neck that anything around the head and neck is going to be adjudicated differently. I'm okay if you're swinging them. If you're swinging them, fine. Flagrant. I'm good with that. It's dangerous. Like back in the 80s, you used to swing them. You got the point, though, in more ways than one. You got the point. And guess what? You didn't do it again. You didn't stick your beak in there because you were going to get clipped. Guys would just no doubt clip you right on the bridge of the nose and the cheek. And let me tell you something. The point of the elbow hurts like hell. I got a few of those from Bill Cartwright. Now, he didn't do it on purpose, but he was just, pow, pow, pow. And I was like, damn, Bill, you're killing me over here. I'm like trying to guard him down. And I was right at that height, too, because I was guarding centers and I was shorter than a lot of these guys. And, it was like dodging arrows. Like, here he's spinning. You get down and make sure I'm not catching an elbow. Because, again, elbows hurt like hell. They hurt like hell. So I'm okay with that. Swing him, flagrant. But if you're just going up, like Draymond goes up like this. So he's here. He's coming this way on the baseline. That one way. I don't know. It's like I point one way on the computer. It's not the way I'm pointing. So I'm pointing the wrong way. Like, look at that. How come I'm pointing the wrong way on the computer? Is that still up? If that one would have went down, I would have been like, holy shit, now we're really screwed. Like one of those movies, The Ring or something. But if you're coming in, like I'm coming baseline, right? And I'm jumping up like this, I'm trying to protect Şengün from getting closer to the ball. If I come in like this, right, Şengün can eat up this space right here and he can get to the ball. Right here, he's got to go through this to get to the ball. But I'm not swinging it. And it's not a wind up. I don't even know how you would wind this up. Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, you can't wind it up. Literally, that there's no way you can wind this up unless you start from here and go this way. And that's not even really a wind up. Like I said, I think they were just making shit up. Like, what do we say that sounds halfway decent? Because that's the way I would go up for a layup. I know the game's different, but because back then, if you want to eat an elbow, come on, eat an elbow. But, they would know what you're doing, and they're not just going to stick their face in there. Like, Şengün was happy to stick his face in there. He was, like, totally fine with that. They get in there in the restricted area. So, like, for me, that's a block. But if you want to call a foul on Draymond because the contact to the head, okay, I get it. Again, things are ref differently nowadays. But in no way, on no planet, in no league, should that ever be a flagrant foul. It just shouldn't. It should not be a flagrant foul at all. And that was one that I don't get into it too often, but that was one that, again, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I don't necessarily want to blame the officials too, because they got to answer to somebody. Everybody has to answer. There's always someone to answer to. So, it always goes up the chain. And then ultimately you're like, well, who does Stern answer to? Well, the owners. Who do the owners answer to? Well, the paying customers. Paying customers they get fed up enough and stop going to the games. That's when things get changed. So everyone has someone to answer to. But that I know they get graded, but you can't. That just wasn't. It just wasn't. And the excuse was, and the reasoning was garbage. That's one of the bigger problems I have with it. One, it wasn't a flagrant foul, and then two, the excuse the excuse. The explanation made no sense. Like, no sense. You got to come up with something that made sense. Problem was, they probably knew nothing they said was going to make sense. And they had to give some sort of explanation for what they were doing. I'm just not. No. Houston Cougars. God, I was hoping the Houston Cougars would get it done last night. But couldn't score. How do you not get a shot off at the end of the game? That was rough. They got up 12. Are they up 14? I think they're up 12. And just that's the problem with Houston. They have more scores this year than they have had, led by Cryer. And they get after you defensively. I mean, again, they're dogs. They hound you defensively. They're up in your jersey. They rebound offensively and defensively. But when they got that lead, they just couldn't get that extension. Couldn't get that extension. And Florida wins it. It was an okay game. It was close. It was hard fought. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing. Auburn, Florida was a fun game to watch. And that was up and down. That was a lot of scoring in that game. I think that one of the better games was Duke Houston, where Houston comes back at the very end of the game. And I've said this forever. If you're up at the end of the game, like a score or two, don't turn it over and make your free throws. You're going to win. What happened? They turned it over and missed their free throw. And ultimately that led to the 7-0 run. And then Duke misses a shot and they get the free throw and made two at the end. But I want to talk about Cooper Flagg. Because Cooper Flagg is awesome. He is awesome. I think there may be 3 or 4 players I wouldn't trade for him right now in the NBA. That's it. Like 3 or 4 guys. I'm not sure who they are. Probably start with Wemby. And then I'm not sure the other 2. I thought about it, Jokic and Shea and maybe a couple of, but because of his age and because of how he plays, I mean, this guy is legit. I heard somebody say today, depending on the system he gets to, the system, he is the system. You kidding me? This guy's going to fit into any system. Any system. I'm going to tell you why he's going to fit into any system. Because he competes his ass off. He's got an incredible basketball IQ. He's big. He's long. He has vision. He can shoot. He has defensive awareness. He has great footwork. He has a nice touch with his left hand and right hand. He's aware off the ball defensively. He can guard multiple positions defensively. And anything else that I'm forgetting, he can probably do. I mean, this guy is incredible. Like, if this guy isn't a multi-time All-Star, and if he stays healthy, if he's not like a Hall of Fame type guy, then I'm not saying he'll make the Hall of Fame, but like a Hall of Fame type guy where it's just like, 7 or 8 All-Star games in a row, some All-Pro teams, first team All-Pro, stuff like that. Like, this guy, I haven't been impressed with a college guy in a long time like him. In a long, long time. In fact, he may be the next American-born player to win an MVP in the league. Because there's going to be another international player this year. Doesn't matter who it is. Whether you think it's going to be Jokic or you think it's going to be Shea. One of them. You got what? Serbia and Canada. So there's another. I think that's 7 years in a row now that the best player in the game is not from the US of A. Personally, I don't care. I just want to see the best players. I don't care where they come from, where they hail from. You could be from Canada, you could be from Argentina, you could be from Serbia, you could be from Bosnia, you could be like where I don't care. Just as long as I get a chance to watch you guys play, then I'm good with that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, what's happened to basketball? Well, I mean, we do win the gold medal. We still have the better players overall as far as quantity, and they're high level. Of course, they're high level. I mean, look at the USA team. I mean, Jason Tatum's a really, really good basketball player. He didn't even play much on that team. Not because he can't play, just because of fit. I mean, somebody had to sit on a team like that. And no knock on Jason Tatum whatsoever, how good this guy is. I mean, he is a fantastic basketball player. I mean, that's a guy that's heading toward a Hall of Fame career. So it's just the best player, which is wild, is been the last 7 years is been a foreign-born player. Cooper Flagg may change that. He may change that. Just please don't go to the Wizards. Please don't go to the Hornets. I'm trying. I mean, he's going to be in Utah, right? He's got to be in Utah. It just fits. All right. You got the whole Utah thing there. You got Cooper Flagg thing there. What I'm saying is, white. Yeah, come on. It's got to work, doesn't it? I mean, have you ever seen the crowd in Utah? Whiter than a David Duke cocktail party. I mean, you kidding me? Of course, Flagg's going there. Come on. Flagg's got to be there, doesn't he? And look, I think Danny Ainge knows how to run an organization, even though this year was just an embarrassment. It was just like, yeah, we're resting. You're resting Kessler? How old is he? Like 24? Who needs rest? Marketing? They need what? But everybody knows what he was doing. He's making sure you get in the bottom 3 or 4. And I used to think it was, I thought top 4 didn't matter, but it's top 3. Top 3, I think, gives you a 14% chance to win it. And then if you're the 4th team, you have like a 10 or 12%, a little bit less. But you got to give yourself a chance to be in that mix. Would really be frightening for the league is if a team like San Antonio jumped up there. Can you imagine Wemby and Flagg on the? Oh, yeah. Wow. You forget about it. You can just start printing playoff tickets for about the next 15 years with those two guys on the team. But yeah, I want to see him go to a competent organization so he can thrive. And the Hornets have not been competent. And as a fan, I have no interest in watching him play with LaMelo Ball, like at all. Zero interest in watching him play with him. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Daniel said the same thing. Wemby was destined to be a Spur, Flagg destined to be a Jazz. It just seems that way, doesn't it? Just seems like it should be a Jazz. Get him and Kessler and Markkanen out there together. Oh my gosh. I'll have to think of a joke for that before I throw that line out there. Got a good line, but I got to think of a good joke. I was going to say, it's not a good joke. I'm going to save it. I'm going to waste it. It's got real potential. It really does. But yeah, Cooper Flagg, I couldn't have been more impressed watching that guy play. Could not have been more impressed watching that guy play. And he gone. He'll be gone there. And that's the thing about college basketball, right? It's still fun. Tournament's still cool, even though the tournament wasn't great this year in terms of upsets and stuff. And I love how people say, oh, is this how it's going to be? The NIL, the transfer portal, we're just going to have number 1 seeds. Like, easy. It's been 1 year of this happening, okay? Give it a couple years. Let's give it a couple and see how this thing works out. It last happened in 2008, I believe. And that's the year that Kansas beat Memphis in overtime. I think the 4 number 1s advanced. But so here's the problem you're having, though, with college athletics is players are staying longer than they have before. Why? Getting paid. You're getting paid, you're going to stay a little bit longer. You don't have to go to the NBA and make back end of the first round money or second round money. You can stay, get your NIL money. What does that do? Okay, so now you got more scholarship players that are staying on your roster. So you're not having as much room for transfers or freshmen when your roster turns over every single year. Where do they get their players? Transfer portal, and they get a lot of them with mid-majors. What's up, Pip? A lot of them mid-major schools. So if you're a coach, would you rather have a freshman or a mid-major freshman, or like a freshman incoming, or somebody who's already played their freshman year at a mid-major that you can see can play at the collegiate level? Well, I'll go ahead and take him then. So that eats up a spot for a college freshman. So now a lot of these college freshmen are going to, they're almost like feeder schools, the smaller schools now, because there's not room for them at the higher level. So now a lot of the players that used to go to the mid-major schools, you can go JUCO or even go Division II and then transfer from there. So it's just the fact that players are staying in college longer now. It's kind of clogging things up, or they didn't used to. So that'll be something that's kind of interesting to watch and see how that goes. But they got to do something just because. And look, I said they got to do something because it upsets me a little bit when I'm watching it. And the guy's played for his 4th team in 4 years, 3 team in 3 years. What do you want? You don't like beer. You're not a fan of beer. And for those people that are listening, not watching, Pippi thought she'd stick her nose in my beer and see what happens. She's done it before. Maybe she likes the hops. I don't know. Huh. Hey, Pip, you screwed me up. I had a good point. No, I didn't. I had no point. I was done at that point. Now, what I was gonna say was, I say it kind of upset. It didn't upset me that much. I don't give a shit. I don't watch that much college hoops to really care anymore. Uh, but it is crazy when you see somebody playing for a school and it's the fourth school they played for, and they don't care about the system. They don't care about anything other than NIL. Give me my money, and that's cool. Joby says my dog loves IPAs. I don't think my dog. I've never given my dog IPAs before. Trust me, I ain't giving Lou IPAs. I ain't giving her anything. Lou's already a wackadoodle, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave Lou, leave Lou snoozing. Lou's fine where she's at. I give the bunny an IPA. No, I'm not gonna give the bunny an IPA. We might do a show. You know what? We might do Thursday outside if it's a nice day. Ogden was saying everybody likes the outside shows. I like the outside shows too. We might go there and try one to solo, see how it works if the weather's good. But we're gonna do some more outside shows coming up. One of my buddies will join me. We'll do some draft stuff and we'll do some stuff. You good? Oh, God dang it, Pip. Put the tap down. Put the tab down. Okay. Let's try to keep this PG-13. Por favor. Sweet kitty. And the other one's the other one's around there. They're around here somewhere. But Pip comes in a lot, like when the door is open. She'll come in and just chill. But Kid doesn't come in very often. Although we did have a surprise appearance from the bunny last week, in case you weren't watching. And any show we do outside, the bunny just kind of joins us and kind of says, "Hey, what's going on out there? Everybody doing good? We good? Yeah, we're good." So Pip's having a good time. By the way, before we get Elk, and hopefully we'll do that in about 13 minutes. Let me look at my phone here, see if we're gonna get. Oh, he just texted me. Oh, you texted him. Okay, he just said okay. So he'll pop up at some point. Does everybody like the new? This isn't new. This is a couple years old. I just don't go to movies as much as I used to. Does everybody like the assigned seating in movies now? Because it went kind of haywire on us today. We thought we got seats in the very back of the theater, and we got the very front row. Very front row. And let me say this. Unless you are disabled in some way or a kid, let's say under 10, maybe under 11, and you're sitting in the front row, chances are you will be arrested at some point during your life. Because there's no reason to sit in the front row of a movie theater. None, unless you're psycho. Unless you're psychotic, there's no reason to sit in the front row of a movie theater. Who would sit in the front row of a movie theater unless you're a kid? Or again, you have disabilities of some sort. You got to be down in the front. There's just, why would you want to sit that close to a massive screen that you got to keep turning your head to see the entire picture, entire screen, and it's bright, like too bright. So anyway, that happened to us. We thought we bought last row, we bought front row. So you know what happened? We walked to the back row. Someone was sitting in the seats we were assigned, supposedly. And we said, excuse me, I think you have our seats. No, they didn't. They had their own seats. So a little embarrassing. So you walk up one side, and then you walk down the other side. And then I go, oh, there's 3 seats over there. Let's just sit in those 3 seats. Wouldn't you know it? About 20 seconds before the movie's about to start, 3 people walk in the theater. I'm thinking, please don't. We're in their seats. So we moved again. We're like hobos in the movie theater. We're just like bouncing around. So we finally went to the back row and sat there. And I'm like, the first, I couldn't even enjoy really the first 10 minutes of the movie. I'm just waiting for people to turn the corner and come walking up there. I'm like, don't walk up here. Just leave us alone, please. I don't feel like relocating again at the movie theater. So, happened to the days you just show up at the movie theater and whatever seat's open, grab it. Just grab a seat. The whole assigned seating thing. And I know it's a little bit different now because a lot of them are the loungers and people want to, they want to make sure they get middle. And I'm a back row guy, by the way. Back row guy. Just that sounds kind of weird, but just give me in the back row, just as long as it is it. Let me read this message real quick. See it cause said it's on the front row. It's because the last seats left when Titanic came out. 3 seats left for a movie. My neck destroyed. Yep, absolutely. That's a horrible mistake, and that's on you, Kyle. That's unacceptable. You should just come back for the next. You should have come back for the next viewing. 3 hours and 45 minutes of the front row at a movie theater. No, thank you. Like I've never sat front row. Even when I was a kid, I don't think I sat front row. But I used to like mid, like because Lori, my wife, loved middle. So we tried to get there early and get middle. And now she likes in the back. So I'm more than happy to be in. Like I'm more than comfortable to be in the back row. Just that's where I want to be. That's where I'm most comfortable. I can go back there and just kind of do my own thing. Maybe bring in a beverage. Although that's the one good thing about theaters now. They serve beer. So if the movie sucks, you can at least go grab a beer and go up there and just, get your IPA on in the back row. And Alameda Theater has good beer. I think they got some Faction over there and they got some other stuff. So I didn't have one today. I thought it felt kind of weird having a beer at 11:30 watching Snow White. I don't know. That screams problem, doesn't it? Doesn't that scream problem? Like I'm drinking a beer at Snow White at 11:30 with my granddaughter. No. I mean, like not that there's anything wrong with that per se, but it just seemed wrong to me. Like at least maybe to make it a 5:00 movie, and maybe make it a PG movie. And then it's Snow White. You're sitting there pounding an IPA. Probably not. So I waited till I got home to have my Mount Nelson. It's a nice cellar maker pale ale. Very, 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 very tasty, by the way. So anyway, before we get to elk, I always love the Masters too, by the way. Just same course every year. I know he said it rained earlier this week, so hopefully it'll be dry. I haven't looked at the weather in Augusta. And usually the thing about the Masters is one of the big boys, right? One of the big boys is in contention at the end. It's not a tournament where you get someone who is a first timer, or you get someone who's a no name, or you get someone who just got hot. They may get hot for a couple days, but 4 days, like knowledge is king there. And the more you play, the more these guys know. But that's the cool thing that I like about the Masters. It could be Scheffler and McIlroy at the end. My pick, I came up with a pick last night, and I'm like, I got to take somebody. There he is. My son said, let's go see Minecraft have some Racer 5s. Let's not. Is Minecraft like a kids movie, or is it not a kids movie? I don't know if it's a kids movie. But that I think Minecraft was starting at like noon today. That's why the whole concession line was a mess. And everybody was there to see Minecraft. And I'm not sure if they serve Racer 5s, Wakiti. Not positive about that. They might, but I know they serve Faction. But I was trying to find who am I going to bet on. It just makes it so much more fun to have a little skin in the game when it comes to Masters, because you get such great odds on everybody, right? Unless it's Scheffler. I think Scheffler's like 3.5 to 1, Rory's 6 to 1. But I need somebody at least like double digits, right? And I thought about Justin Thomas. My buddy said, hey, Justin Thomas been playing pretty good. He's been playing okay. Jordan Spieth always seems to get some love at the Masters because of his wizardry around the greens and his creativity, his shot making ability. So, I looked into him a little bit. You always got to look into Koepka just a little bit because the guy's such a stud in the majors. DeChambeau. Although to my recollection, I didn't really look at him because I don't know that he's done all that well. I don't think Augusta's been great to him. So I didn't go him. Again, I took Schauffele. I missed on him last year. He's a guy I bet forever, and then I didn't bet, and then he finally won. Yeah. one of those type deals. So I took Colin Morikawa. Morikawa's been playing well. He's not a bomber, but he's really good around the greens, really good with his irons. And I sometimes you just get the feeling it's someone's time, like they're good enough. Cantlay is one of those guys that I always figure like Cantlay's got the game to win at these courses. And I didn't take him. I think if I take somebody else, I'll probably take Thomas, maybe like a top 10 or something like that. But I went with Morikawa. I went with him. It seems to be the we've seriously. We just got done rooting on the hometown boy. I'll thank you, Max. Alameda Cinnamon is not a race 5 faction. Okay, yeah. Now they got Trimmer there too. Trimmer's pretty good beer. Trimmer's not bad. I kind of like them for just a regular lager pilsner style beer. But Faction's got a lot of good pale ales too. But no, I think sometimes it just feels like it's time for someone. I just feel like that for Morikawa, and he's been playing well. I like a guy to at least be in decent form. Now, I mean, if I was going to bet, everybody had the same odds. How do you not bet Scheffler? And Scheffler is just ridiculous, and how he does it with his feet moving, it's just still insane. You watch him, you're like, I know now. I mean, it doesn't surprise me anymore what he's doing, but yeesh, how? How is he doing? How's he pulling that one off? And I like Scheffler too. He seems like a good guy. I mean, he's kind of a god squatter. Not really my thing, but he just seems like a genuine guy, like a nice guy, like my type of guy to go out and have a beer with. Probably Rory. You get the Irish dudes, get out there, go to the pub, have a drink, and I kind of like Rory, but I can't take him. He's only 6.5 to 1. I got to get somebody that's and Morikawa, I think, was 14 or 15 to 1, 14.5, something like that. So I just said, let's go. And hopefully Elk will enjoy that. Hopefully he'll endorse that pick when he comes on. And so there you go. There's my pick for the Masters, the 2025 Masters. And I will probably watch most of Saturday. And then Sunday, the Warriors got the Clippers, which I didn't see tonight. If Kawhi was playing, I know they're thinking about. I thought they would probably rest him because they have the Rockets. I think they get the Rockets tomorrow, and they probably figure they can beat. They can beat the Spurs without Kawhi. That he's a game time. Kawhi's a game time decision. And then tomorrow they have the Rockets. So it wouldn't surprise me if they rest him or try to limit minutes. But here's the problem with that. If you think anytime you go into a game and think, oh, we probably got this one anyway, let's rest him now. It just doesn't work that way. It's not that easy, not that clean. But if the Clippers win tonight and tomorrow, if they win the next two, then I think at Sacramento and then here. So Warriors should win tonight. I think that the Suns are, Durant's out and completely demoralized after the year they've had. It's a team that was trying to win a championship. Not that anybody believed them, but that's what they were gearing up for. And just to miss altogether, I can't imagine their hearts are in this at all. So I would think the Warriors win tonight. Clippers win tonight. Trying to see who else is out there that's playing that anybody cares about. Lakers will lose tonight. I think they're going to rest. From what I've heard, they're going to rest a lot. Oh, I guess they are playing some guys. So the spread is 9.5. Luka and LeBron are game time decisions, but that was 15. So if you want to go by the line, I would say those guys are playing, or at least one of them are playing tonight. And I know the Lakers got the Mavs tomorrow. And they are, if I look real quick here, the Lakers are 2 games ahead of the Warriors. So 3 games ahead of the Warriors because they have the tiebreaker. And so the Warriors are going to have to completely jump them by a game. And the best the Warriors can do right now is get to 50 wins. So the Lakers need 2 more wins is what they need to secure their spot above the Warriors, but they still can't get Denver. Them and the Clippers. I mean, how about this? Clippers, Warriors, T-Wolves, Grizzlies, all 46 and 32. Now, it's important to get 5 and 6. 4 would be nice. 3 even better, whatever. But 5 and, just get under the cut line of 6 and you're good. So you don't want to have to play that one game play-in. Not that I think the Kings or Mavericks are threats, but you don't want to take a chance. Warriors lost two games at home. Can't remember what year that was. Lakers and Memphis. And I didn't think they'd lose those two either. I did not think they'd lose those two. I thought those two would be like gimmies. We're good. Moving on. Didn't work that way. I want to say it was Lakers first and then Grizzlies after that. So you get to 6, you're good. I mean, you're going to be playing Denver, Lakers if you're under 6. Denver, Lakers, Clippers, Memphis, Minnesota, and then 2 of them are going to be stuck at 7 and 8. Now, I don't mind being at 7 if you get in, because I still think the Rockets, as good as they looked on Sunday, are a team I wouldn't mind, digging into come playoff time and really dissect them and try to figure out offensively how to stop what they're doing. Because offensively, I think they're going to be really kind of hot and cold. Oh, we have Elk? Is that what you're saying? I believe we do. So he's a man who likes his he liked his Houston Cougars last night. He probably enjoys his Houston Rockets as well. A man who enjoys all things Houston. We're joined by PGA winner, Players winner, and a man who just has, sickeningly to me, still has one of the greatest swings I've ever seen, Steve Elkington. What's going on, Elk?
And a national championship loser last night. You said the Cougs were going to do it.
No, bull. I did not say. You said, what do you think? And I said, I like them. I did not say they were going to do it. Don't offer that.
Yeah, I know.
Out there.
You're right.
But
I wanted them to. That hurt.
Yeah, it was, once they got that 12-point lead, Elk, they just could not get any extension. They went really cold, and then Florida got them. And then it just came down to who could make a shot at the end or who could get a shot off. That was the most disappointing part, that Houston didn't even get a shot off to either tie it or take the lead. That hurt.
Yeah, that hurt. That was very disappointing. And Florida had some big guys. They were running in some fresh guys, and we got in foul trouble. And look, I'm telling you about basketball. That's funny.
It's like me telling you about golf.
Yeah, that's why I'm on here to talk about golf.
So let's start off with this year. Is there anything new at Augusta? Certain holes that are going to be playing a little bit differently, or tees that have been moved back that people should look for?
I think there's a few tees moved back, although you never get any confirmation much on that. I remember once when Davis Love and I went to go play Augusta on the way to play in the Players Championship one year, and we were standing on the first tee, and Davis Love's like, Elk, this tee's like 30 yards back. And I'm like, is it? And he goes, yeah. And right then the chairman, Billy Payne, walked out, and Davis Love said, hey, Billy, did they move the first tee? Is this tee being moved back? And Billy Payne said, oh, I don't think so, Davis. And he said, well, they've either moved the clubhouse or the first tee, one or the other. So they don't really tell us, but, they had a terrible storm that went through here. It wasn't a hurricane, but what it was about 60 tornadoes went through Augusta and devastated the town. It's been terrible, but, Augusta got really hammered. The town and the course did too. To give an example, the 16th hole had this huge tree fall in the middle of the green, and when they tried to get the tree off, it ripped up the whole green. It speared into the green, so they had to rebuild totally from scratch the 16th green. Now think about that for a second. Think if your backyard wasn't too good and you wanted to rebuild it real quick and have it ready for the Masters. I mean, could you get it back identical? And I spoke to Tom Fazio today that did the work, and he said, and I spoke to Ben Crenshaw because he was consulting on it, and it's basically identical. A couple of the players have said that there's a tiny bit more room up on the back right corner, which is a very nasty pin, and the front right is even a little bit steeper. So that's interesting, and I know you'll remember that when you hit your second shot into the 15th hole, the par 5, there was 3 big trees behind the green, 3 big pine trees.
Yeah.
Well, they lost 2 of them. There's only 1 there now. That looks totally different. But in general, Tommy, the course is mint. It's absolutely mint. It's not frightening right now because we had a lot of rain here yesterday. Monday, they actually closed the golf course and sent everybody home. And miraculously, somehow today, it's just like almost dry. I mean, it's incredible with the sub-air systems they have. I mean, money is not a problem of fixing stuff.
It is not a problem at all. So when we talk about who has a chance to win here, and I always say I love the Masters because not only is it the same course for the most part, as a viewer what you're watching and you can remember what happened years gone by. It's usually the big horses, the big dogs are the ones that are competing for a Masters championship. And if you're talking about the big dogs, you got to start with Scotty Scheffler and then work from there, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, thinking about your show today, Scheffler's the most talented player, and I'll tell you why I think he is, but Rory McIlroy is also. But where they're sort of miles apart slightly is their emotional, their emotions. And Scotty's a real even keel. He doesn't get, he's probably the most equipped emotional player I've ever seen to play the Masters. Not only has the most shots, but he's just non-emotional. Rory, on the other hand, needs the Grand Slam. He's feeling pressed. He's gifted striker of the ball. Mostly plays right to left, but emotionally, I just don't think he's even close to being Scheffler. Could he win? Yeah, I think he could, but it's going to be a stretch. I'm telling you.
How does Scheffler do what he does when his feet move like they do?
The feet moving, if you took your shoes off and you were in socks on a slippery floor and you started swinging a golf club correctly, it's a big ask for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you had the pressure in your feet moving correctly, you would probably mimic his footwork. You would. They don't have spikes like they used to when I first played the tour. So it's a reaction to the way he pushes and presses his pressure in his feet. So it's got nothing. It bears no. It does nothing to hurt anything. In fact, he has a lot of built-in torques into his feet to guarantee that he hits the shot that he's trying to hit. He likes to play a lot of fade shots. He can play a controlled draw, but that foot action is torque and pressure that's sliding out after impact to guarantee the shot he's going for.
All right, now I did something, and by the way, if you don't recognize the voice you're hearing, like I said, players tour champion, PGA champion, and always fun to talk to Steve Elkington. Joins us today, breaking down the Masters. I did this. I'm gonna need the. If you still do the Matrix, don't you?
I haven't done it this week, but I can still do it like on the top of my head if I had to.
Okay, so I always like looking at the Matrix before I pick a winner, but I just went ahead and took Colin Morikawa, and I don't know if the Matrix would enjoy Morikawa. He's in good form recently, and sometimes I get the feeling Elk is just someone's turn, like it's their turn to be right there and give themselves a chance to win. What do you think about Morikawa's chances this week?
Well, he's playing great. That's number one. He's got great stats. He chips way better than he used to. I mean, he had a real blind spot in his game up until this year, which was pitching the ball and bunker play. And he's not a big guy, so he's given up a lot of distance on a sort of a heavy course right now for weather. So, mate, when you have these guys that hit the ball We're talking 180 mile an hour ball speed. That's big. That's big time. Morikawa is probably 170. And when you get on these par fives or even the long par fours and you hit it 30 yards past him, you're going to get worn down. You're going to get beat by these guys that bomb it. Now, that being said, I don't think a short player is out of it, because we got a sort of a north wind blowing right now, and there's supposed to be a bit more of that, which means the par fives aren't really reachable. So some of the years, like when someone might say, well, what about Zach Johnson? Well, Zach Johnson won when it was super wet and the wind blew out of the north, so nobody could reach fives, and he's a better wedge player. So can Morikawa do it? I don't think this is his week, but I'm never going to tell you he can't do it. But I'll tell you some of the guys that I watched today that are playing really well. That kid Thomas Dietrich, who absolutely shellacks the ball. I mean, he's up there around 190 ball speed. That's 330 in the air. And in case you viewers were wondering what that is, he's swinging really good. Cantlay's swinging well. Joaquin Niemann, coming off the Live Tour, is playing well. That kid JJ Spawn, who lost in a playoff to Rory at the Players Championship, mate. I was sitting there watching Bryson DeChambeau. I'll talk about him in a minute. JJ Spawn's hitting it absolutely perfect. And then I'm looking at. I'm back on Science Guy. I've told you about Science Guy before, and Bryson is very interesting because he just finished fifth in the live event that was played in Miami at the Blue Monster. And anybody that remembers the Blue Monster, it's probably one of the hardest courses ever. I was lucky enough to win that tournament twice. But Bryson finished fifth on possibly, no one knows this because not a lot of people are watching live, but last week, 6 under par, won the tournament at the Blue Monster. Bryson finished fifth, like at 3 under. Mate, that's all I need to know, that he just played on the windiest, narrowest, wettest, sandiest course on earth, the Blue Monster. So that tells me he's in good shape. He's up there at 200 mile an hour ball speed if he wants to be. That's massive. And he's hitting it great. I watched him hit 100 balls today with his 3-wood, and that he's flying about 285, 290 into a slight wind today.
Look, if golf counted on live viewers, golf would have died 3 years ago, because nobody watches that. Nobody's out there, and I don't know.
They do when it's out of America. It's massively. Oh yeah, it's massively popular in Australia. In Australia, massive.
Tiger brought up something a couple years ago, and give me your thoughts on how it's played out. Because Tiger said, "What's the motivation for me if I go to live and play? I've already got the money, and I am walking around. We got the music, we got the shorts, we got 3-round tournaments. It's not real golf as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not sure how these guys are going to keep their edge. Some have kept it better than others." But how have you seen it play out in terms of like live, where they're almost out of sight, out of mind, except for the majors, and then they come back? But how have they responded, do you think? Have these guys been able, for the most part, to keep their edge, or have you noticed a decline at all?
Well, it's a fair question. There's one argument would say that, Dustin Johnson is not as good a player as he was when he went to live. There's another argument that says that Bryson DeChambeau came and won the U.S. Open, stole it right out from under Rory McIlroy last year. Rahm hasn't played that well, but I think he won the Masters when he first went to live, or was it just before or after, one or the other? But there's a lot of star players on live. I mean, let's not get carried away. Those guys are star players over there. Mickelson's playing well, although I'm not looking at him this week. I think the course is too long. But Joaquin Niemann is one of the best players over there, playing very well. I think he's already won a couple of times this year, and I think he won 3 times last year. I think he's actually worked himself into the top 10 on the world ranking without world ranking points from live. So he gets it on other tournaments he's won, like the Australian Open, and I think he won the Indonesian Open or something. So, golf split up right now, but thank God it's not today, meaning that the Masters is going to have them all. And it was great to see all those guys out there. I saw Koepka playing a few holes today. He was playing with Freddie Couples. And Couples has been very outspoken about Liv, and there you go. They're out there playing together today. The Masters, there's just nothing like it, mate.
Yeah.
Really.
I wish, it's so funny you mentioned Freddie Couples, because those were the two swings I always wished I could emulate. Was either Couples or Els. Guys that didn't look like they were swinging it that hard, and it was just super under control and easy, and then the ball just exploded off their club face. But I mean, because you've seen me play, I'm a disaster, and my tempo is. My tempo is just. I don't. You can't even call it tempo.
Electric. Someone electric shocked you in the middle of your swing or something. Yeah.
It's basically what happened, and that's ultimately what the ball looks like too. When I get done with it, it's like, Jesus, go take a lesson, pal. I mean, just one. But I love that. I loved their swing. Especially Freddie. Freddie just looked like a statue, and his arms and his hips like moved, and then the ball just like boom. And this was before all the technology, but his swing was. Was it as different as I thought it was? Because it just seemed a lot different than everybody else's.
Well, he played a variation. He sort of stood up, open stance, used very little leg action, lifted the club up abruptly, and then once he got halfway back, then he made a shoulder turn, which sort of made the club go right across the line, and then he put the club in the normal position, and then he whipped it through with a low finish. But he just did it, as you say. All of us know how to crack the whip, so to speak, and Freddie just did it real smoothly. Yeah.
Now, how was your swing before you became, a competitive golfer? I'm sure that was when you were much younger, but how much different did your swing get as you progressed through the ranks of kind of amateur and then pro? Because again, I mean, I don't want to blow smoke here, but anybody that's ever seen Elk swing a club, I mean, it's one of the most beautiful swings you're ever going to see, and it's one of the most pure swings you're ever going to see. But how much of that was just natural stuff? Like you just that's kind of what your swing.
Yeah, I don't think it was a lot of natural. I work hard on my swing, always have when I was a kid. But I think as I got better, or I got up the ranks, you're just trying to enhance it, and whether it's delay the hit a little bit more, get the club face into absolute perfect position, which would come from sort of a really good grip, and not getting too technical, but I have this rhythm inside of my head that I know when to deliver it, and that's probably one of the big differences between sort of me and you, right? Know, for example, like I can't get it there from 3-point land. Okay, I can't get it there. I'm strong enough, but I don't have the I don't have the sequence. Or whatever I don't have, right? So I'm just throwing it up. It looks terrible. So, but golf, I inherently know the sequence, and I know when to make it move.
Yeah, I don't know shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But you can get it there from 3.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely can get it there from 3. Yeah. I just can't get it. I can't get it there from 30 feet. When I'm out playing golf. Of course, it takes me forever to get there, but God, it's very frustrating. All right, before I ask you a couple questions to finish off, give me like 3 or 4 guys. Give me a couple of your favorites and a couple underdogs that you think may contend. If not a winner, maybe a top 10 a pick.
Well, I think, I think I've already said at the top, this is sort of the most talented guys are up there. We've already agreed that Scheffler and Rory and Bryson are up there. I don't see Koepka playing that good right now, but I'm just not seeing that. Minwoo Lee is a super powerful young Australian. I keep telling you, power, but Augusta is so long now. There's such an advantage to being able to move it right off the tee. Jordan Spieth, I watched him play. I watched him play a few holes today. I wasn't overly impressed with Jordan, but honestly, Jordan isn't over impressive off the tee. He's impressive, scorer. When he gets going, he knows how to do it. What was your question? Who's going to do it?
A couple long shots.
I tell you who, Sergio Garcia's playing good. I spoke to Sergio.
Really?
Oh yeah, he won a live event recently overseas somewhere, and he's playing really well. He said he's the best he's hitting the ball in years. So I thought that was pretty good.
Huh.
Um, you know, I told you that Thomas Dietrich, he's the kid from Belgium that won in Phoenix this year. He's hitting it just perfect. And then you got Ludwig Oberg.
Yep.
I haven't mentioned him yet. He's
He
on
hasn't played
everybody.
well so far this year.
Well, he won San Diego. That's pretty good. But
I guess that's okay.
yeah, I didn't expect you to remember. It's 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. That's out of your
Easy.
deal. Yeah.
Easy.
And Hovland won recently, like 2
He
weeks ago.
did.
Yeah, but he's kind of psycho, right? He's kind of hot and cold. But Aberg will be in there. He's going to be in it. I think your guy Morikawa will be in there. I think Neiman will be in there. The longest shot guys, JJ Spawn might be in there. Can't win it. Akshay Bhatia, left-handed kid that's built like a one iron, he's going to be somewhere in there. Christian Bezuidenhout from South Africa probably was hitting the ball. My son and I sat there for 2 hours today on the range, which is not a bad gig because you got beer.
No.
It's like being at a stadium, And Boysenhout probably hit the ball the best at the pins because for the viewers out there that don't know this, the range at Augusta is simulated holes. There's like the fifth hole out there, one of the hardest driving holes on the course. Big bunkers up the left, and you've got to curve it left. That's on the range with trees up the right and the left. That's just one piece of the range. Over here, there's another piece which is second shot at 13 up that way. So we're watching guys sort of simulate their second shots and tee balls. And when you see a guy hit 50 balls onto a green from 200 yards, that's impressive even for me.
All right, give me a couple
shots.
You remember most vividly from the Masters, good and bad, if you can remember. And what are the
mine
shots
or anyone's?
Yeah, yours.
Oh, my. Well, I had 2 good tournaments there. Or I had a few good tournaments, but I finished second. Sorry, I finished third twice. But I played with Jack Nicklaus 1 year there in about 98, and Jack had. This is not my shot; it's his shot. But he had one of the most interesting, mind-boggling stats of all time. Is this stat that I'm going to tell you? Is Jack Nicklaus holed a 5-iron on the 5th hole at Augusta? The second shot at 5, literally the green has a wave in the front, and then it's just the most diabolical green on the course. Jack Nicklaus holed a 5-iron on that green on Friday. The next day, Saturday, I'm playing with him, and he hits another shot from on the fairway and holes it again, back-to-back 5-irons in a row. And I said, "Didn't you do this yesterday?" And he pointed. He said, "Yeah, I was right over there, and I was just telling my caddy that I did 2 5-irons in a row." Now, come on, that's not my shot, but I had some good rounds there.
Yeah, you did.
T, but I won some of that crystal, the eagle crystal. If you eagle a hole, they give you a some crystal with it, the year and what hole you had the eagle. And I did that on 15. I knew I couldn't get to the green on 15 1 year into the wind. It was like 245 into the wind. This is back playing with wood, with lumber. Yeah. And just smashed a 3-wood out of my ass onto the green and holed it and got crystal. That was pretty cool. I made a hole-in-one on 16 in the practice round. Just remembered that, by the way. That was pretty cool. That was my 16th hole-in-one on the 16th hole.
Wow. Is that where you hit it up on the ridge and it kind of trickles down toward the hole?
Exactly what happened, except it wasn't a back left pin. It was a front left pin. They put it there. This was in the practice. This wasn't in the tournament. Which it still counts, okay? I mean, you count it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've had 3 or 4 of them, Elk, so I count them all.
Yeah. So Augusta is a driving contest when it comes down to the tournament. Who's going to be in play so that if I put everyone out in the middle of the fairway, Would that win the tournament? No, it's a second. I just said it's a driving course, but it's a second shot course. Is where
Yeah.
you place the second shots. So that's Scheffler. Rory doesn't hit his irons near as good as Scheffler. Morikawa's got some control, but he doesn't have both ways control. He doesn't curve it
Yeah.
both ways. You need that. So that's what I got.
All right. Let me ask you this. Who did you, when you were paired up with somebody when you were on the tour, who did you think, oh, this is going to be great? I love playing with this guy. And who did you think, I got to play with this asshole?
Well, I love playing with Jack, or I love playing with anyone that was like the number one, because there's sort of a couple things that happen when you play with number one player in the world, Jack or Tiger or Greg Norman or Nick Faldo back in the day when those guys, Nick Price. One is all the attention is on that group. That's number one. Number two, your focus is off the charts. So there's no lollygagging. There's no like, oh, what an idiot. I wasn't thinking there. You know, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And if you play well in that group, the payoff for you personally is so huge, because when you walk back in the locker room and all the other choppers are in there and they see that you just shot 68 playing with Tiger or Jack, or they're like, holy shit, this guy, he's a real deal. I can't do that, that kind of thing, so, slow players,
who'd you hate playing with?
slow players are tough. Bernhard was tough to play with because he's so slow and methodical, so German, but I love Bernhard.
So German.
Yeah. So mathematical. Anyone that's sort of super, super technical, lots of yardage, lots of pacing back and forth, all that kind of thing. Scott Hoke was tough to play with because he was a running comment. He was a self-deprecating person to himself. So after he'd hit a shot for the next 200 yards, he would talk bad on himself, which we do. We just do it quietly. He do it out loud.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. That is fun. So you played, I never even asked you this, but you played with Tiger?
Oh, tons of times. Yeah.
In a tournament. So what was the difference between playing with him and playing with Jack?
Same intensity.
Same intensity?
So, yeah. When I was 48, I'm 62 now, 48, the year that Dustin Johnson grounded his club up at Whistling Straits, remember, in the PGA?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I was paired with Tiger on Saturday in the next to last group. I'm 48 years old. He's still rocking. So we got 20,000 people following that group that day, and that was intense. And I shot 67, shot 30 on the back nine, and Tiger shot 76. I shot 66 or 67, smoked him by about 10 strokes. Yep. And like I said to you earlier there, I always used to get Tiger to sign a glove because his daughter's named Sam and my son's Sam. So he would sign the glove for me. He didn't really sign gloves, but he signed them for me. And he told me when he walked out, because he knew he couldn't win on Sunday. This was Saturday. He looked at me and he said, "Oh, you probably can't be beat tomorrow is how good you're playing. Congrats. I hope you do well." And he never says that either. I'm sure that's probably like Michael Jordan saying something to somebody. But so yeah, I played, I got paired with Tiger, quite a bit. He's a hard guy to play with, but I honestly, to be honest, I relished it because I got to see where my game was actually.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean that's pretty amazing. All right, last one out before I let you go. This one I try to wedge in there and ask all my guests. What was the most trouble you got into as a kid? What did you do? And what punishment did your parents give you for doing it?
Oh, I think that's easy. I mean, back in the day in Australia, back in Wagga, I think I'd say probably smoking cigarettes when I was younger. Mum would catch you with them, and then the worst punishment was the clubs would get locked in the trunk of her car. That's hurtful. That's worse than last night's loss.
How old were you when you were smoking the cigarettes?
Probably 14 or 15, 16, somewhere in there. It's not even a big deal now, right? I mean, but it seemed like it was back then.
I guess not. Yeah,
what'd you do? What'd you do?
Well, I mean, hit
a two iron from my yard, and I broke the neighbor's window, trying to go over the house and smash the window. That was bad. That wasn't good.
You tried to go over the house with a 2-iron?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, what?
It wouldn't have been
You
any.
got to
Wouldn't
know
have
the
been. It
two
wouldn't have been.
iron's not getting over the house, Elk.
Well, that's why you try it.
Well, I guess you found out.
Yeah, exactly. That
You
wasn't.
found
That
out.
was.
You
That
found out in
wasn't
the
great.
worst ways. I don't know, Elk. I mean, I got into trouble so much when I was little that I can't even. I don't even know what the worst was. I mean, I
You
caught.
weren't ever. You weren't ever little. Let's get that. Let's get that
Yeah, you're
straight.
probably right. But
Yeah.
I caught the belt. I caught the room
Oh yeah, I got the belt.
for 2 weeks. Isn't it funny how people think like because you can't spank anybody anymore? Like our generation was just ruined. Like how in the world did we even make it through getting spanked? And I always tell people, I go, well, because when you got spanked, you learn not to fucking do it again. That was
Yeah.
just basically that simple. But I mean, they look at me like my dad was a barbarian. I'm like, hey, I love my dad. I mean, I'm glad he did it because I was a little shit a lot of the time, and
My
I
mom,
needed
my
that.
mom was that. I remember my brother was 2 years older, got me drunk, and he was drunk, and we came home late, and then he wanted to cook in the kitchen, and he had all the eggs and everything going, and I'm shit faced. I'm about 14, and my mother woke up, and she came in there, and she grabbed the saucepan or the frying pan that he was cooking all that shit, and hit him over the head with it, knocked him out cold.
What? You're kidding? Knocked him out?
Knocked him out cold. Well, he's already shit faced. He just went down, and that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's a solid one. When my mom, I made the mistake one time because apparently I was an idiot at the point. But my mom pulled out the belt and whipped me, and she wasn't that strong, so I laughed, and then she just goes, "Oh,
That's
you think
bad.
that's funny, huh? Wait till your dad gets home." I go, "God, why am I such an idiot? Why did I just act like it hurt? Why didn't I at least
Exactly.
it just
Take a knee,
I
go
didn't
down
do
on
it?"
the knee and roll over. Yeah. Yeah.
I laughed at it, and then I got my dad, and then my dad was doubly pissed off because I laughed at my mom. So I was like, that was just so stupid. God, what an idiot! What an absolute idiot! Oh God, you remember the '80s? You remember the
Oh,
'80
yeah.
Olympic USA versus Russia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched that from I didn't watch it. I listened to it from my bedroom because I was in trouble for doing something stupid. I'd be in my bedroom for 2 weeks, and I asked my dad. I go, "Hey, I'll give you 4 more days if you just let me watch the USA Russia game."
Good game.
Nope, sorry, can't get.
Sorry.
Not going to do it. So I had to listen to it on the TV from my. I was just Anyway, it's fun, but I've never been knocked out by a saucepan in the middle of the night.
Frying
That's a new
pan.
one on me.
Frying pan.
Frying pan. That is good stuff.
When he wakes up, this all better be cleaned up by the time I shut up.
That is great stuff. Oh my goodness. Hey, have a great time down there. You gonna be back up in the Bay Area anytime soon?
When I do, I'll be calling you, and we're going to go out and have one more look at that action of yours. See, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll look at that action. We'll definitely go out and get a couple pints.
Yep. All right, mate.
All right, Steve. Thanks very, very much. I always appreciate the time out.
Yep.
All right. Have a good week. That was Steve Elkington. And wow, that was some kind of story right there. Shit faced at 14, go in the kitchen, cook. Mom wakes up, takes frying pan, knocks brother out because she hits him over the head. that was something. Wow. All right. So here's the schedule for this week. And by the way, would I bet Morikawa if I would have talked to Elk? Yeah, I don't know. But I still probably would have. I that's the thing about golf. You don't got to bet a whole lot. But let's get some. If we want to get some comments too, if Max wants to do some comments up there, I can answer some questions. You got any questions about the Warriors playoffs? What's going on with the Giants? Hold that one up there for a second so I can get to it. But Woody tomorrow, Kirk Reeder's going to join us tomorrow, and then Charles Davis on Thursday. So we're going to have baseball for you tomorrow. Tour the shed. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it as much as you guys are. Can't wait to see what's in the shed and the stories that go along with it. That just makes it better. Other than that, they're just memorabilia, but the stories that go along with it is great. And then Charles Davis will join us. And we'll talk to Charles, too, about his move from the NFL to college football because Gary Danielson's retiring next year. This will be his last year doing college football. And then we will get Charles Davis. And Charles is a super cool dude. Really cool guy, really good commentator. So it'll be fun to talk to him about the NFL draft and the Niners' needs and where he thinks they might go. Maybe who are some of the good defensive linemen, offensive linemen, linebackers. They might even get a receiver. Who knows what they're going to get this year, but we'll talk to Charles about that. So, all right, if we have any questions, I know we just had a comment on there, but I didn't get a chance to see that because it disappeared. There it is. Hey, Tom, I'm about to watch Freaky Tales right now. Just watched Sleepy Floyd game on YouTube a little while ago. Saw your young ass on there. You haven't aged a bit. Well, I got news for you. One, I have aged a bit. Two, I wasn't in that game. That was before I got to the Warriors. So I don't know who you're seeing that was on the court, but I was not part of the Sleepy Floyd game. Sleepy Floyd game was 2 years before I got there. You sound like Bill Walton a little bit. We interviewed Bill one time. He goes, "Oh, I remember Tom Tolbert, the elbows." And I said, "Bill, I never played against you. You're high." He goes, "That may be." Bill was incredible. So yeah, and then we're going to try during the playoffs. I'm going to try to do something that, again, we'll figure this out, and Daniel and Max will help me, but I'm going to bring some gear on the road, maybe just a computer or whatever, and then do some post-game reaction in the hotel room. We can figure it out. I think that'd be kind of cool. I'll just get on there, talk about the game for like 15, 20 minutes. You guys could ask questions, and we'll wrap it up. I'm not doing it an hour. I'm just not. Okay. I want to go out and drink. I want to go out and hang out. I do have a life, but I do want to do it and talk about it. And here's the thing. I think people sometimes get on the air and talk about a game for like an hour and a half. I can't. It's a game. It's one game. It's still one game. So we're going to do it for probably 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. But I do want to get questions in there. I do want to get comments in there about the game. I'll keep reminding you this. Keep your comments about the players and coaches, or the referees and the coaches, to a minimum, because I don't play that. I don't do that. And so, all right, do we have any? Oh, thank you, Dom. I appreciate it. We are in the finals of our Serial Killer Invitational. So a little light last week. I want you guys to beef it up this week. Zodiac versus Bundy, 9-2. Now, come on. Is Zodiac going to take this thing? Hometown kid? He took down Dahmer. That was a monster upset. Number one seed going down. And then he takes down John Wayne Gacy. We're a little light. I think because his show was a little light last week. We didn't get a lot of traction, but I'm hoping to get more votes than just like 150 per. Hoping we can get at least 300 for this, since it is the finals. We're going to crown our first and last champion of the Serial Killer Invitational. Bundy, the 2, coming out of the Northwest bracket. I think he did most of his killing up in Seattle. So we'll call that the Northwest bracket. And then the Central Valley. Well, not really Central Valley. It's more Central Coast, California, Zodiac. Look at the West Coast representing in the Serial Killer Invitational. West Coast. Yep. How do they do that? Is that what is that? Is that what Snoop does? One of these deals? West Coast. Okay, that's ridiculous. Like 59 doing that. Although Snoop's probably Snoop's probably not too much younger than I am. So there you go. Zodiac took down John Wayne Gacy. Bundy's just kind of rolling. Bundy has not been challenged yet. I have a feeling that he's going to be challenged here because everybody seems to love the Zodiac. Bay Area kid, Cinderella story. He took down Jack the Ripper by 59 votes, and then took down Jeffrey Dahmer by 3, and then took down Gacy by another 51. So we'll see. I mean, Bundy should be a heavy favorite in this one. Massive. David Ryder says his girlfriend has a postcard from Manson. Ooh, that'd be interesting. She interviews, profiles criminals, and writes reports for lawyers. Wow. I bet you that's something. Do you have it framed up in the house? That'd be a little spooky, wouldn't it? Have that one? Yeah, and then the reason people were asking, why isn't Manson in here? I had to cut it off somewhere. That's just what I went with. I did not expect Zodiac to be where he is, though. Again, I underestimated the local aspect of Zodiac. So there you go. It's up. It's up on Google, up on Twitter. The number 9 versus the number 2, Bundy and Zodiac. And again, Bundy is just rolled. He's rolled by 105. He's rolled by, what is that, 155. And then he's rolled by 45. So it's not even close. This guy's like the Hoyas. Feels like a Villanova Georgetown matchup, doesn't it? Like Ted Bundy's the big bad Hoyas. You got David Graham, you got Patrick Ewing, you got Brown, you got, and then Zodiac feels like Ed Pinckney and the Jensens, both Jensens. And who was the big guy for that Villanova team? It was the white dude, looked like a bear, like hair on his shoulders and everything. And God, what was that guy's name? Can't remember his name. But him and Pinckney were like the 4 and the 5. It just feels like it's a big, like this would be a big upset, but I'm not even going to call it a big upset because Zodiac's been rolling. And I know people that have voted for Zodiac before are going to continue to vote for Zodiac. David said, yeah, I think she's got the Manson autograph or letter in a little frame. That's still spooky, but I would dig it. I think that'd be pretty cool. Feels weird when you talk about anything having to do with serial killers. It's kind of cool. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do that. Put in a little frame. So, all right. So vote. Let's see if we can get the winner to at least have a couple hundred votes. And I again, if I'm betting on this, Zodiac's got to be the favorite just because of what I've seen so far. Bundy should be the favorite. Bundy would be the favorite in any other part of the country. Zodiac is going to be the favorite in this part of the country. And so Bundy versus Zodiac. Have at it. I'm excited. I think it's been a roaring success. It's been a rip-roaring success. The SKI, the Serial Killer Invitational. And that's what you want. You like your upsets, don't you? Well, you got to upsets this one. So, all right, tomorrow, Woody, Kirk Reeder, and then Thursday, Charles Davis. Do we have any more? If we don't have any more comments, then we'll just go ahead and get on out of here, get you all ready for, go have a beer, go have dinner, and then a couple hours, we got the Suns and the Warriors. I should say last night I watched the, I think my second full Giants game, just because I've been traveling, bouncing around, watched a lot of basketball, and I was like, bummer. Although I should say this, Hunter Green threw 100 miles an hour on his 102nd pitch. What an arm. What an arm that guy has. Webb was incredible last night. Webb was awesome. And the ball that Jung-Ho Lee hit, I don't know if it was 5th or 6th inning to right center. That thing was smashed, but it's right center at Oracle. And you got to be the biggest of big boys to get it out of there on a night like that. And that's just not really his game at all. But sometimes you tip the cap. Somebody pitches that well. Hunter Green's a stud, and Hunter Green threw the ball extremely well. Going to happen. And they've had an incredible start so far. So it's been fun to watch. It really has been fun to watch, and hopefully they'll continue on. It'd be fun to see them and the Dodgers, Padres, D-backs up there all year long. It makes all those games a lot more meaningful and a lot more fun to watch. And then as the season goes on, we'll talk more Giants. We're going to talk Giants tomorrow with Kirk Reeder. So hope everybody has a great evening. Enjoy the games, and we will talk to you tomorrow. See you.